So, yeah, let's just get right into this thing, man. What led you down this path of nomadism and minimalism and away from the American lifestyle to where you are now?
Yeah, that's a good question. I guess I just kind of got tired of living that life in the big city, living in the system, like doing the 9 to 5, just sort of paying a ton of money for rent and then health insurance and just sort of um yeah, just getting stuck in the grind really.
Where'd you live?
And then I was in New York City for a while. I
Oh,
also lived
okay.
in Tokyo. So
Wow, yeah, those are very big, busy cities.
very, yeah, huge metropolis cities, craziness, but um yeah, I just found myself like kind of stuck in a routine for a while. I was kind of just like grinding away, cog in
Mm,
the machine sort of thing. And then
mm-hmm.
yeah, and then I just sort of discovered sort of the nomadic lifestyle, like
Yeah.
digital nomads now with like there's so many ways that you can survive just solely on the internet. So, make a living, learn, communicate, create communities. um, yeah, you can just do it all online.
Yeah.
So
And see
why
the
are
world.
we, yeah, exactly. So why are we stuck in these like small apartments, paying a ton of money for rent and getting stuck in these 9 to 5 sort of routines when you can just, yeah, you can just be anywhere. You don't have to
Mm,
be stuck in one location. So,
yeah. I think it's because a lot of people don't know it's even possible to do that.
right. Yeah, it's a relatively new thing, but I mean, I guess now with this past couple of years, people are kind of opening up to it, sort of
Mm-hmm.
becoming an option,
Yeah.
a more feasible option. So I think it's only going to grow from here.
Yeah, for sure.
You
I can
know,
see it being pretty big in the next like 5, 10 years. People not wanting to be on this hamster wheel of the life that we currently have.
right? Yeah, because it's just draining. Like it's not natural. It's
Yeah,
not what
no,
we're meant to do.
no, it's not at all. It's so unnatural. It just doesn't feel right. Like you honestly just feel like a servant or a slave being in that. I mean, you're not like a slave back in the day getting whipped or anything, but you're like the mindset of like a slave, like just the idea of not being able to what's the word I'm looking for? You can't choose what you want to do or where you want to go. Like you're just caught in the same cycle. It's a very mentally draining lifestyle that we've built up for ourselves in the 21st century.
Yeah, exactly. I think people are sort of waking up to that and sort of reevaluating what's important in life. And
So how did you
it's not
wake
for
up to it?
everyone, but how did I wake up
Yeah,
to
like
it?
what was there like a moment where you're just at your desk in your button up suit and you're just like, I'm tired of this. I'm done. I need something else.
I wouldn't say it was a moment. I would say it was a slow buildup, though,
Yeah.
of like sort of the monotony and sort of like, oh, is this life? No, there must be more. There must be more. And then, and then it just was just a slow buildup. And I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna, and I ended up just buying a car and just actually I lived in my car for like 6 months almost, being a nomad traveling across the US. And yeah, it was pretty spontaneous. I mean, I pretty much bought the car like within the same week that I sold my apartment, sold all my stuff, and
Hmm.
just sort of took off on the road, headed to California. Um, yeah, I just ended up working on like farms along the way, like just ran like couch surfing, doing like meditation retreats along the way, and just like meeting all these different people. Um, yeah, so I'd say it was just a slow build up and then just a snap where it's like, all right, let's go.
Did you feel like there was a weight lifted off of your shoulders after you sold the apartment and got your car and just went to California?
Yeah, for sure. That was the most free I probably ever felt in my life, honestly. Just like getting rid of all the stuff.
Yeah.
like all the material things. It's like we just collect all this material stuff, and like we think there's sort of some value to them, but yeah, once you just get rid of it, you're like, oh, like didn't really need any of that. It's just got
Yeah.
like a computer, a few sets of clothes. Um, yeah, it's really much, it's all you really need now.
Mm. It's
It's
weird
all
how like
digitized.
yeah,
So
right. It's all our possessions are like they almost drag us down. They chain us down. We think that they provide us some kind of identity or some kind of safety in a way, like having this and having that, and then it's not true, man. Because how many times have we got something and we're just like, oh, now what? What's the next thing? Like
yeah.
we always just want to fill the void with some things, but that's not how it goes. That's not how happiness
Right.
is
Yeah,
brought.
exactly. And then just like the letting go, the process of letting go of it all is so liberating.
Mm,
And it's like just getting rid of that attachment and being sort of content with what you have, having gratitude. It's yeah, it's really it's just like all in your head.
mm-hmm. Yeah, it's all in our head, man. So what did it
It's all
teach
in
you,
our
like
head.
doing this whole thing? Living in your car. Is there anything that it kind of changed for you along the way?
Um I guess it just opened me up more to different people, different different cultures even. I ended up driving to Mexico at one point. So um yeah, just I guess it just opened me up to what's truly possible in life. Like there's so
Mm,
many alternatives. Like if you're not happy in a situation, there's so many alternatives, like off the
yeah.
beaten path sort of ways of living. Um yeah, and just yeah, I guess it just showed me that it's very doable. Like I didn't really have that many difficulties with it. It was mostly just like thinking about it before doing it, like, oh, this is it's gonna be terrible. I'm gonna get robbed. I'm gonna get
Yeah.
lost or something. But no, you just do it, and yeah, I guess the world's it's pretty it's a pretty nice place. It's not
Yeah.
yeah, it's not like what media wants you to think it is. It's just
Yeah.
yeah, like I never ran into any like I was staying in like Detroit and sleeping in my car there. No issues.
Yeah.
So
I think if you have like a certain energy of not attracting trouble, trouble's not going to be attracted to you, you know?
yeah, exactly. It's just the energy you're putting off.
Yeah.
So like
It
yeah,
comes
as
back
long as
around.
you just kind of like have to flow with it. I think that was the key. And just
Mm-hmm.
sort of like flowing with it,
Flowing
not
with it.
causing
Yeah. I'm going with
yeah.
it. That's cool. That's awesome. Um, yeah. I watch your videos and sometimes I'm like, damn. I'm like, can I do that? I definitely could. I think we can all do it. But I'm just I
Yeah.
don't know. It's
Yeah, I
freedom.
mean it's not for everyone, I'm sure. Like if you have a family, I imagine it
Yeah.
would be a lot harder. But
That's for sure.
but yeah, but if you're just like living in a apartment in some big city with some like 9 to 5 job and you're just sort of burnt out,
Yeah.
then yeah, I totally recommend it. And just meet new people. Um, just there's so many communities. Like the US is such a diverse place, really.
Oh
Like
yeah.
so many subcultures and everything. So
Mm-hmm. Would
just
you
do
ever
some
go back
research.
to
Back
New York
to
or Tokyo and living in a metropolis?
um I probably would actually. Like
Mm-hmm.
because now I know I have the option. Like
Yeah.
I've done it already. I've been become a nomad. So, I can go back, but I won't have that mentality of like, oh, I'm trapped here or
Mm.
I'm feeling burnt out. It's like, oh, you know, anytime I can book the ticket and, go back to the nomadic life again.
Yeah, that's huge. The feeling of not being trapped in our situation, because I think that's just a byproduct of the society that we live in. It just wants us to feel like we're trapped and you have to do what you're told. We've been conditioned in that since birth, pretty much, since they ship us off in these yellow tubes called school buses off to prisons for kids. It's like they regiment us in this like idea of the Monday through Friday schedule. Do what you're told, and it's I don't. It's very hard to decondition from that, and I think it institutes a sense of being trapped in our head. It really does, because I know what it feels like to be trapped in that lifestyle, and it feels like there's no hope, like there's no light at the end of the tunnel, but there is, man. You can, it's a cliche, but you can manifest whatever you want in this life. If you really set your mind to it, you can do it. Especially living in America in the 21st century, and you don't, like you don't have kids or a family or anything. It's yeah, you can really do whatever you want, bro. Especially with this technology that we have, like this new advent of interconnectedness with everybody all over the world. There's so many opportunities and possibilities for one to live their life and how they really want to live it. It's just that we're not told that, we're not. There's no one that's
Right.
gonna
Yeah.
do
No
it
one's
for you.
telling you to do it.
Yeah,
No one's encouraging. It's actually probably discouraged, if anything,
yeah,
by
right.
society. Like,
Yeah, get a
yeah, like they
job.
don't. Yeah, exactly. Get a job, pay your taxes. Just sort of
Yeah,
don't mess around too much. Don't break the wheel.
yeah, exactly.
but
Yeah,
but yeah, we don't have to do that anymore. And you're right. It's all just about manifesting it. Like if you can visualize it, that can become your reality. Like
mm-hmm.
it just needs the action, the initiative.
Yeah, exactly,
And then once
exactly.
that's taken care of, then the flow starts and there you go.
And the fun starts.
And the fun starts. Yeah, exactly. The unknown. Like,
Yeah. Well, that's what we're scared
yeah.
of too, is the unknown. A lot of people don't like to, like, we like this idea. Like, we have narratives in our head. Like, this is how my life is. This is how it goes. And on Friday, I'll come home and then we got the weekend. And then, I'll watch Netflix, and just this idea of like, just how our life is structured, when in reality, those are just hallucinations in our head of how we project our life to be. But it's really however you want to project your own life, like however you visualize your life is what you can make of it. That's what you can make it into. And it's a superpower that I don't think a lot of people know we have, to
Yeah,
be.
definitely.
I mean, it
Yeah.
is like everyone knows The Secret, like the movie The Secret, and people laugh at it, and it is corny. Definitely, they definitely could have did a better delivery of the idea, but it's true, man. Like your mind is it's like a magnet for however you want to, whatever you want in this life. It really is, and it's cliche and corny, but if it's true. Like all of this stuff, all of this, like my entire life, sometimes I think I'm like of things that I have or did or people that I know, and I'm like, when did I think of that and visualize that and try to attract them? I can pinpoint the time, like maybe in a specific meditation or something, when I was thinking of that and tried to manifest that, and it happens. And I think a lot of other people can attest to that too. Is like if you really focus on something for long enough, and you feel it in your being, you visualize it, and just kind of just sit with it and how it looks, and just literally like create like a mental movie in your head of what that is, whatever it is. It could be an object, an idea, like a lifestyle, like you have a person, whatever it is, man. There's something about, like, in our free will, being able, like, our free will in creating our life starts with just simply sitting down and visualizing, and then from there it just, like you said, it just flows. Like somehow if you take the action, it'll just happen. somehow. It's just like the magic of the universe.
Right.
It just happens.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
just all the pieces come together.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And it's crazy, man. That they don't want you to know about that though. That's the power. We all have that power. I think every single human being has that power. And we're all doing it. That's the thing. We're all doing it whether we know it or not. We're all creating our own reality. But if you don't know it, then somebody else is going to take a hold of your thoughts and your perception and create your reality for you in a way. But either way, it's being created, like it's being manifested by you, and most likely to most people that don't know it's a thing, it's by you unconsciously, so that's why meditation, yoga, and really just taking a hold of your own thoughts is so important, or taking a hold of your own just your entire being, just kind of like checking in and just seeing what's going on with yourself is really important, because there may be some things going on in your head that you're not even aware of, and then boom, it manifests into your life and you're like, where the hell did that come from? Why am I, why did that happen to me? Woe is me. Well, it's because you didn't check yourself. You got to like check in with yourself almost every day. I would say regularly. You have to check in, and that's how you create your life. If you're not checking in, then like I said, the media is going to create it for you. Social media is going to create this life for you. Your family, your friends, whatever it is, like there's going to be other influences, and in our lifestyle that we live right now, there's millions of other influences upon our mind that are just putting these ideas and concepts and ways of thought that aren't ours into our being. It's in our unconscious mind, and it stays in there. And if you don't know enough, like I said, it's just going to come about in your life, and that's how it works. So it's so important, man. And you know the deal. It's so important to be able to just sit down, see what's going on, close your eyes, and just breathe. And you'll be surprised on some of the stuff that pops up. But yeah, that's how powerful the mind is. It's a
Yeah,
net.
that's why that's the importance of meditation and
Mm-hmm.
or being mindful. Because yeah, so many people just get carried away. I think that's why the collective consciousness right now is kind of like so crazy. It's because like what do we see? It's just like
Mm-hmm.
all this crazy media, all this social media, TikTok.
Yeah, that's what's
It's
creating everyone's reality right now. Is everyone just sucked in to this technology?
right.
Technology. Everyone's sucked into this. But if you don't use it effectively, like I think technology is a double-edged sword. It gets a lot of hate, but it's because people don't know how to use it. It's a tool. It's a very
Yeah,
powerful
exactly.
tool. It's the most powerful tool we've ever had in our arsenal. And if you don't check yourself on it, you're gonna wreck yourself on it for sure. Like if you're just scrolling on TikTok, just watching people dance and just dumb videos, you're going to get sucked in. You're going to get lost in the sauce, bro. But you can use it effectively to your advantage in your own life if you really want to. It's just so like the platforms that we have are geared to suck our attention in. Like no matter what, they're trying to get your eyeballs on the screen for the most amount of time possible. So these people, advertisers, are going to do it. Oh, excuse me, sorry. These advertisers are going to do it in whatever way that they can do it. And like I said, man, you just have to continually check yourself. Like I mean, I'm not saying I'm perfect on technology. There's times where I'm just like, what am I doing? Why did I get sucked into that? Because they're good. They know
Yeah,
how to
they're very good.
appeal. And that's why our world's messed up right now, is because we're literally brain controlled, dude. You know that, right? Like this is where like we're living in the time where it's brainwash everywhere, everywhere. Like how many people listening to this, right? When you wake up in the morning, the first thing you want to do is check your phone. I know I'm guilty of it. What is
Yeah,
the
for
first
sure.
thing that somebody wants to do that's addicted to heroin when they wake up in the morning? They want to probably shoot up, right? Because we're addicted to this technology. So if we're addicted to this technology, that is, it's like we're addicted to programming. We're addicted to our own brainwash. Isn't that crazy? That's why the
It
world's messed
is.
up.
Oh man. Yeah. So yeah, you just gotta tap out of it, really.
Tap out,
You're
bro.
just gonna tap out. You can't
Tap
get
into
sucked
in
into
here.
it.
Tap into
Yeah,
your
tap
heart.
in. it's so exactly as cliche as it sounds.
It's what you
That's
got
what
to
you got
do.
to do. Exactly. And yeah, I mean, but yeah, it is hard when it's like that's how you're making an income, that's how you're
Yeah,
learning, that's how you're connecting with people. It's like
it's
all in the
tough.
same place. So, but
It's possible though.
um it is possible. I think, yeah, just having a spiritual practice is really like important. That's
Hmm.
where that comes in. Like just
Yeah,
having the awareness, the
awareness.
self-awareness of what it is.
That's what it is. Awareness of what you're doing. Because how many times do we just go on our phones and it's just like an itch. It's just like this unconscious itch. We're just like, oh, I'm gonna check it right now, right? But what if you just like whenever you feel that itch, you're just like, wait, and you become aware of what you're doing because you go on here and I could just like scroll through, look to see if I got any notifications and just get sucked into that. And then I see an ad and then I get sucked into some rabbit hole down there. And it's just like, you end up on something that you didn't
Right.
even like. How many times you go on your phone, you just end up on something that wasn't even your original prerogative for going on your own phone, right? So
Right, exactly.
if you can become aware of how you utilize the technology, it definitely will make it so you don't get sucked in and lost in the sauce so much. But a lot easier said than done, like I said, because they're not working for our attention on there. These platforms are built to suck us in as much as they can. It's crazy.
Right. Yeah, that's how they get the money. So
It's craziness, isn't it, man? It's craziness.
yeah, I just found out that like infinite scroll feature on I think Instagram has it now, where you
I
just
think I'm pretty sure every social media platform does. Like you
pretty much
just keep going. It doesn't
yeah,
stop.
it's just some like random video, and you're like, oh, this is
Hmm.
and you and like I've tried it, like actually just getting sucked into it, and like it's just it's so mindless and so addicting. It's like
There's a reason they call it the feed. It's like a feed
the
for your
feed,
brain.
yeah,
It's
it's
like
just
they're
like
just feeding
feeding
in
you
that information. Like they're feeding in food for cows. It's the feed, bro. Just feed it
the
in.
feed.
They're just feeding all of this useless information that is pertaining to your interests now. It's not just random information. They know exactly what we like. They know what you're looking at, where you've been, your friends. It's bro. It's 100%, and everybody knows this too. Yet we still continue to use these platforms. I mean, there is definitely a movement for people to like go away from Facebook and social media, but it's not in the pop. It's not in the majority right now for to boycott social media. And it's like we're okay with our servitude. We're just like, oh, well, whatever. It doesn't matter to me. It's not affecting me that much, but it is. It's affecting us so much more than I think we are led to believe. In all other than like we'll just get rid of the messages that are pertain to us, right? We'll just shoo that away. What is it doing to our brains in terms of the endless scrolling and the 6 second videos on TikTok or whatever it is, like 30 seconds or 3 minutes now, whatever it is. It's just very short, quick dopamine releases that are pertain to us, and it never ends. What is that doing to our brain, and especially younger people? How is that conditioning their brain to be when they're adults? I don't know, man. I don't think anybody really knows because this is uncharted territory in terms of what it's
Right,
doing for our consciousness, but I don't think it's
exactly.
good. It's definitely not good.
Right, yeah, especially for young kids doing this. But
Right.
yeah, yeah, it's a little scary, but I mean, yeah, nobody knows. Like this is uncharted territory we're going into here, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like exponentially evolving. Like the
Yeah.
changes are exponential. So and now we're like this whole metaverse thing they announced.
Yeah, we're going into the matrix. We're
Yeah,
going in.
we're pretty much in the matrix already. I mean, like
Yeah, we're there. This is the matrix. What we're doing. This is it. This is just the beginning.
right, yeah, the metaverse is we've been living in the metaverse already.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, man. It's definitely like I said. But hey, if you are tapped into yourself, it's whatever. It's okay. Like you know that there's always another layer of your being than this technology, the metaverse. Like That's not, this isn't the truth. These are just tools that we're using to communicate with one another. But if you get sucked into it, you're going to think that's your being. Like people think that social media is them. I mean, it's really not, you know, it's really just, it's just a tool that you want to show the world and portray yourself as. It's your ego. It's pretty much it's an
Right.
extension of your
Yeah,
ego.
it's an extension of your ego, pretty much.
But if you
And
don't know that you're not your ego, then you're going to think all of that shit online is you. And it's definitely going to mess with your mind. It's gotta, bro.
yeah, for sure, for sure. So yeah, I'm just trying to limit it,
Limit
honestly.
it.
Like
Everybody's just, we all just gotta limit it, bro.
just just keep your limits. Get into nature,
Yeah, nature.
go to the beach, meditate, just kind of
Yeah.
turn it off for a while, and just sort of yeah, it's just the balance, really. I mean, there's a balance with everything. And it's
I
just
believe that.
finding that balance that works for you. So
Hmm.
um yeah, I mean, that's what I'm kind of trying to do now. I'm just trying to find the balance, like not go too far in any direction in any
Mm.
aspect of life, but rather just kind of stay on the balance that I find works for me. And then that's sort
Mm.
of how I've been um, doing this lifestyle pretty much.
Yeah.
Just gotta balance it out.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that, man. 100%. Finding the balance. It's tough though. It's possible. Well, what would you say balance is to you? Like, what is a sense of balance in your being?
Um, well, it's pretty much, I guess it's like the dualistic nature of everything. There's you always need a balance for different aspects of life. So, for example, um, like balancing the spirituality with like the pragmatic aspects of life.
Hmm.
Like, I mean, yeah, you kind of need both, really.
Yeah, I agree.
You need both. Like you, I mean, you could just go live in a cave, become a yogi, move to India, and sort of just um, live that lifestyle.
Yeah.
But um, yeah, I mean, I guess in my life, I kind of want to balance the pragmatic aspect too. Like, I kind of have to support myself, sort of have to make a living somehow. So
Yeah. Yeah. We all gotta put food on the
yeah,
table.
we got to put food on the table. So it's like, yeah, you just got to balance it, and it's different for everyone. I mean, everyone has
Mm.
a different balance. Some people would lean more towards one direction, but as long as you're just aware of it, and then you find sort of the sweet spot that works for you, then yeah, I think that's sort of how you can live a good life that's aligned with your values and um, your path, whatever that may be.
I agree. Amen. How did you come to find these two almost opposing um, parts of your being? You know, the groundedness and then the spiritual, and because not a lot of people have a spiritual practice, I guess you could say, to tap into the greater the greater being of infinite consciousness, whatever you want to call it. How did you come to find that?
Right. Well, I guess I had a few sort of awakening moments in my life. I guess the first one was probably when I was probably like 17. I just was up in a mountain by myself and just sort of sitting in the silence. And, for a moment, I just sort of had that, like something shifted
Mm.
in that moment. And I was like, oh, wow. I'm like, what, what is this?
Mhm.
What is
Mhm.
this peculiar place? And why are we running around living this way. There must be something else. And then it probably wasn't until like 8 or 9 years later that I actually like really opened up to what spirituality is, and like sort of got into meditation, sort of did some yoga, did some reading, and yeah, and then of course, yeah, psychedelics came into play. So that's sort of, but yeah, it was all traced back to that moment when I was like 17, just like up on a mountain by myself, and I had a sort of something clicked, and then yeah, it just expanded from that, really.
Oh,
And
that's
that
pretty
was,
cool. You had that one moment.
yeah, yeah, it was just one moment, and it took me almost 10 years to like understand what that moment was, and that
Hmm.
there's a whole world that can open up, and that has been opened up by people for throughout human history,
Yeah.
thousands of years. um yeah, so it's just sort of that, and then yeah, did a few Vipassana retreats, did some more, and then like the algorithm on the internet, of course, just once it starts, then it all just comes. Like, oh man, wow, there's all these communities online now. There's all
Yeah.
these like yogis doing YouTube channels now, and
Hmm. Show
yeah,
out
and
the
it's
algorithm.
yeah, and then that the algorithm gets you, and then it's like, oh, and then like, oh yeah, that's just,
Then you're in.
yeah, then you're in. Then you're in. You're like, oh, and then you're like, oh, that's just a path that I can go down too. But
Hmm.
it's not. It's just, that's just another path
It's
as
just another
well. And
path. Yeah.
that's sort of what spirituality is. It's kind of like the holistic integration of it all.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. Like digesting. Do you think it's like there's value in digesting a bunch of different paths, like various ways to live your life, and then you kind of like make it your own in your own being.
Yeah, exactly. You kind of like you kind of see it all. You kind of like step back from it all, and you're like, oh yeah, and yeah, you can you can just kind of go down all different paths now. So, and just like see them for what they truly are, and that's really cool.
Yeah.
So even like just like pop music videos or something, like I'll just
Mm.
watch them and be like, oh wow, yeah, that's a path that they're going down, and that's one manifestation of it.
Yeah. Right.
And yeah, it's really beautiful. I guess it just showed me the beauty of it all. Like
There's
every
this.
manifestation is beautiful. Like
Yeah, it's true. Even the not beautiful manifestations, they're you know what I mean? Like even the darkness in this
right,
world.
even the darkness, because that's just it's the darkness and the light. It's the duality of it all. So,
Mm-hmm.
but it's
Yeah.
all, I guess it's all one.
It's all one,
As they
man.
say, it's all one. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
How do you digest that, man? That's the toughest part. Is like when you is realizing that, for me at least, that the darkness in this world, like murder and genocide and rape and the list goes on. I don't want to say too many buzzwords, but like the stuff that just like damn, like is there evil? Like how do you digest that? That is God as well. That is the infinite just expressing itself. It's because I guess, like you said, it's the balance that you have to like there. It's like recognizing that if that we didn't know that stuff was bad, then how would we know what was good? If we didn't know that stuff
yeah,
was
exactly.
evil, that stuff teaches us like, oh, that's how I don't want to live my life. That's not how I want to treat other people. So I guess we can just look at it as that is the infinite or God teaching us a lesson to live our lives accordingly to the light. That's how I
Right.
justify it.
yeah, because you need the darkness to have the light.
Mm,
You need to suffer in order to sort of break through. And
yeah.
yeah, and that's why I've like suffering's kind of that's kind of how spiritual awakening can happen
Mm-hmm.
with a lot of people, is the suffering. They have to go so deep, like the dark night of the soul, or and yeah, you kind of have to go to the extremes of
Yeah.
both, of yeah, one end to get to the other end, really.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm. Yeah, the
but
problem is just being unbalanced. I think, yeah, the idea of balance is so. Are you a Libra?
I'm not a Libra.
Okay, because Libra is all
Scorpio.
about balance. Okay, all right. just just saying. But yeah, it's all about balance in a being. Like even if you are a Libra or a Scorpio or not, whatever it is. But it's just
Yeah,
it's just recognizing that there is a darkness in the world and in ourselves, and recognizing that that's not fully ourself. There is a lightness inside of us. There is that continual bliss, that playfulness, almost like that childlike innocence that is present inside of us. It's always there, but there is just an imbalance in this world, you know. And if you can strike that and bring a little bit more of that lightheartedness in your being, then you'll be a lot happier. I think it's very important to be able to do that, and all you got to do is tap in. You just got to be able to tap in and realize that it's there. It's always been there. It's been there since you were a kid. That's the thing, is we have that when we're a kid, and then
yeah,
we grow out
you
of it.
lose it.
Into our egos, and that's kind of like the darkness. It's kind of like we grow out of it into darkness, but we don't realize. So the balance is up here. This is the darkness. We got the light. You just gotta bring it up. You know, bring it into like some kind of
Yeah,
even keel in our beings, and you know that's the play. That's spirituality, kind of, in a way. That's the game of life. Is continually working with your lower and higher self, and then how can you from that become a better person to yourself and other people. It's that striking that balance in yourself, and you know, it's a continuous process. It doesn't just end one day where you're just like, oh, I am the perfect being. No, it's like kind of a it's a journey, but it's a journey that I think once you find the light, you don't it doesn't leave you. You know, once you can find
right.
that heaven inside of you, you know, that kingdom of heaven inside, once you can find that, it doesn't it doesn't really disappear. You know, this might have some darker days than others, but it's always there, man. Once you can find it, you just gotta reach it first. You just gotta be able to tap in.
Right.
And that's the journey. That's the path.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree with that. That's what's helped me so much, is just like knowing that that light is there.
Mm-hmm.
Even if I forget it, I'm like, oh, it's there. Don't have to worry.
Exactly.
As dark as it can get, you know it's there, and you know what it is. So
Yeah. Just,
that's key, tapping into
yeah.
that light within, kingdom of heaven within.
It's
And
always there,
then
man.
yeah, you never forget it. I mean, you kind of forget it, but you never really forget
You
it.
never lose it, you know.
You
It's
never
always
lose it. Exactly. But it's still like, at least for me, it's like a sort of constant back and forth between forgetting and then remembering.
there. Mm-hmm.
So it's like, sometimes you'll just get caught up in something, or the ego will come back and you'll get wrapped up in like anxiety or something, whatever, just
Yep.
worrying about something. And then you're like, oh, and then
I
you take
forgot.
a step back. Yeah,
Yeah.
I forgot. And then take a step back, kind of find that place again. Maybe you're in nature, or you're in a meditation, or doing some practice. And yeah, it's kind of, for me, it's a balance between it's kind of a balance between those two, like forgetting and remembering it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yep.
yeah.
That's the path, man. That's the path.
Yeah. Yeah. And you just kind of play with it. You're like, oh, yeah, we're going here, come back.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's like lightness, darkness, whatever, like sickness, health. So it just comes,
It always comes back.
cycles.
Yeah. It's nice to know though, right? It's like a refuge that you can always retreat to, no matter what
Yeah, it
happens.
is. It's the best refuge. honestly. Like that
Mm.
that's it. That is, it's like God coming to save you, pretty much.
Yeah, that's what it is, man.
Or,
It's
yeah.
it is. It's a sense of like immortality in a way. They know that like all of this stuff, this darkness in the world and the material plane, is just a show. It's just a drama. I don't know why. I don't know how. I think it why is because to wake us up to the light. Like this, once you realize that the drama is not you, and that there's a greater part of your being that's kind of behind the scenes, behind the curtain. That was the point of the show. It was to wake you up to what's going on behind the scenes. And the thing is, the show's always going on stage,
Mhm.
but there's always behind the scenes as well. And you just gotta, here we go again with the balance. You gotta strike the show. I mean, you strike the balance with the show. It's like to know that, yeah, there's always the play going on. There's always this character that I have to play as Gary Haskins or as SleepChop. You always gotta like show up and play your role. But behind the scenes, that's really where it's calm. There's a sense of peace. There's nobody watching, I guess you could say. There's nobody watching the show. There's this like it's like this like it's a sanctuary of the self. And if you get lost in your role in the show, if you just think you're the actor, then you're not even going to realize that there is a behind the scenes where there's just complete peace and you're good, and the lights aren't too intense and it's peaceful. Right? It's
Exactly.
That's why you have to check in with yourself. The whole idea of this conversation I think we're on is like you gotta check in with yourself regularly, to find that balance. So you don't forget that you're just an actor in the show of life. But if you do know that you're an actor in the show of life, at the same time knowing that the show is going to end someday, and
Yeah.
that behind the scenes is where the show ends. You can tap into that kind of that ending, that peace that's always there and that will be there when the show ends. You can tap into that no matter what time. You can peek behind the curtain if you really want to. And to me, like I said, it's a refuge, it's a sanctuary to be able to do that. And from here I just realized that I'm going with the show. I'm going with the flow, I'm going with the show, and just having some
Yeah,
fun.
it's a stage. It's
That's
playing the
all.
characters on the stage, and
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just trying to have fun with it. I mean, it's kind of what my YouTube channel is really. It's just like this character I made up, and he's just like, just kind of experimenting, I guess, with life, alternative ways of living, and yeah, just kind of throwing myself out there in the
That's
character
important.
form. But yeah, not attaching to it. That's so important. Like so many people don't understand. It's like can't attach to it.
To
Yeah,
your role, you're saying?
to the role, yeah,
Yeah.
for the role, not get like be so attached that you're like, oh, I am this role.
I am the
This
role. I
is
am the actor, right?
I
Yeah.
am the actor, but
Well, the thing is,
you're not the
we
actor.
are we are the actor, but at the same time, we're greater. That's the thing. It's like you
Yeah.
realize that we are, no matter what. I'm in this body right now in this current moment, and you're in yours, and so is the listener, and we're all playing this role in this time. But at the same time, there's something else going on. There's a greater, I don't know if you want to say purpose, there's a greater plan. Like there's something else going on behind the scenes, but we still have to play our role. But a lot of
Yeah,
that's awakening, I think. Awakening is awakening
that's
that
awakening.
is I'm still my role, but at the same time, I'm not. But I mean, if you just think you're your role, then it's just like you're gonna get lost in the drama of the show. Like all the shit that happens, you're gonna think that's you and that's it, and this is how life is. But if you have that refuge of there is another layer to this reality, then it's like nothing can hurt you. There's no matter what happens in this illusion of Maya, as they call it, it's
Mhm.
just an illusion. It's just like this. It's just this grand show that ultimately, no matter how much it may hurt inside, emotionally or physically, ultimately it's all temporary and it's all just going to pass, and it's not really the truth, quote unquote. The truth lies behind the scenes, and this is all just something to wake us up to what's going on behind the scenes, and then so we can ultimately, I guess, create a better world for future generations and people that come after us, so they don't have to get lost in the illusion of Maya and get sucked into the darkness. But that's a whole other topic.
Right. Well, that's how civilization was long ago.
Yeah,
And now
yeah.
we're going back. So that's a cycle in itself. Like,
Hmm.
it's the forgetting, remembering. And yeah, maybe in the future we'll live a more spiritual, in a more spiritual society, more aligned. But yeah, I think for now we're kind of in the materialistic phase of
For sure.
development.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure, just all illusion trapped in the Maya, for
Hmm.
sure. But yeah, who knows what the future will be when we get to like the singularity point or whatever that'll look like.
Yeah.
Imagine that might be more aligned with the higher self, you
Yeah, well, I
know.
mean, it's like the singularity in terms of the metaverse. I guess that's probably the closest thing we're gonna get to like singularity on the material plane. Like your being becomes part of this collective being in this other. Like you can just. It's kind of like it's the internet. What we have. It's the internet is the first rendition of singularity. But then there's another layer of singularity where, like we just talked about, like where you're always connected, like all is one. I think we've already reached singularity, and it comes in terms of our consciousness. You know,
Hmm.
like
Right.
if you can all if we are all
'Cause-
on the same wavelength of all is one, isn't that singularity in a way? It's
yeah,
kind of.
in a sense.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
it kind of in one aspect, I guess. I guess in like for collective consciousness, I suppose. It's
Yeah,
like we're all, yeah, like our mind it's kind of one mind now on the internet. Like if you're connected to it, you're and plus the algorithm, you get the algorithm going, and then it's like it all brings it together. Then of course it all learns from each other, and it's like
yeah, and it gets trippy.
it gets trippy. Yeah, it can go down some rabbit holes for sure. But,
Yeah, I almost see us as being humans as being the servants to this singularity life form, like to this technology. Like we are the gods to this technology, creating this technology for its benefit to come alive.
mm,
Like let's say this
right.
this singularity intelligence of technology. Let's say it comes about and develops some kind of actual cognition, um, which it probably already
Right.
has. If
Like the
anybody has
AI
watched,
or
yeah, which kind of already does have some kind of cognition. In terms of like philosopher AI, I don't know if anybody's ever seen my video with that, or just like GPT-3, like the intelligence that it has, and it can talk to you like a person. Well, let's say it develops a little bit more down the road, and it has like some kind of idea of knowing that what it is and where it came from. It would look at us as God. It would look at us as gods because literally we created that. So what is God to us? It's our creator. So we are like gods to this singularity intelligence. And I sometimes that's how I view humans as like we're just serving this future intelligence to create it, and then when it doesn't need us anymore, I don't know what it's going to do. I hope it doesn't
yeah.
destroy us, but I think that's just kind of sometimes I think that's what we're doing is we're just serving this technological um, God, this God of the singularity of the metaverse that's creating itself through us. But I don't know. That's just one of my
Right.
high ideas.
Yeah, we're definitely not the final product of it. Like it's just infinitely unfolding. It's infinitely expanding. And
Yeah. Yeah. You
yeah,
think
so of
life is
course
just
we're just
continually like we're just continually in the cycle of like creation.
yeah, yeah. I mean it's just infinitely expanding in all directions. So of course we're gonna get the AI. That's we're seeing that increase, and it's just gonna keep growing from there. Humans are gonna become the gods, and then AI will that'll start a whole new thing in probably a different space, not even in the physical, it won't even be in the physical space anymore. It'll be like
Yeah. It'd be
just
like,
some, I don't know, just it'll just be in a in a single point. It won't be needing space. But
yeah.
yeah, that's a whole yeah, that can go a whole rabbit hole that way. I
That's
don't know.
definitely a rabbit hole in itself. Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. I don't. Yeah, like locality, time won't be a thing once we're in the. I mean, not time. Oh, time might be a thing, but I'm talking about
Um,
time and space are the same thing, I guess.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess you wouldn't. There wouldn't really be time, right? Because like
It's
with
all.
AI, is there time like when they're processing, or it's just kind of like
It's just
it's just sort
instantaneous.
of instantaneous. Like they could write like a whole novel in a fraction of a second,
Hmm.
probably.
Well, I'd say the limitation to that would be the speed of light. So
Yeah. So
if
yeah, that's
it
true.
only goes as fast as the speed of light, but once we get to quantum computing, which I don't know anything about, but I was looking some stuff about
Yeah.
that up about that the other day, and it's just like it just puts our regular computing with with the current architecture that we have now, it just kind of it just blows it out of the water, man. In terms of what the speed of quantum computing, it's insane. And I'm not gonna act like I know how it works or try to even explain it. It's just a way better computer. Like so, rather than 0 and 1, which binary, which we have with computers right now, it's it's like 0 1 and then another option. So like it's not all computers are based off of on off switches, right? It's just circuits, just on and off. Literally, what we're doing right now is just a bunch of different on and off switches is working together, and they come together, create a cohesive architecture that creates the technology that we have now. But with quantum computing, it throws another option into there, and I think it might even be 4 options. I don't know, but it's more than just 0 and 1. So it's just like the speed at which it can do these things. It just throws another variable into the speed, and it's just like it's just that's when we get into the matrix. When it doesn't when we're not limited by the speed of light per se, it goes into like the quantum world. That's when stuff gets trippy. That's when it's just like,
Right.
whoa. And
Yeah.
yeah, man. Yeah. That's when it's
Yeah.
like there is not gonna be like space or time. It's just gonna be like say you're hooked up into that matrix of quantum computing. You just think and it happens. Almost like a dream state, I guess I can picture it. Like you don't even think and it happens. It's the same thing. Like you think and it happens is it happening. you know,
Yeah.
there is no pre time. Like we talk about manifestation, like visualize it and it'll happen. It'll just be like you visualize it and that's it. And you're living in this like weird this like it's like an astral realm of technological I'm not even gonna try and explain it. But I
Okay.
think you can kind of get the
Yeah,
gist of
it's
what it is.
it's just like we can't fathom it. It's
Yeah.
beyond our comprehension at this point. Like
Yeah. Our feeble monkey minds cannot
yeah, our
fathom.
feeble monkey minds cannot fathom what that would be like. But it'll
Sometimes
happen though.
yeah, oh yeah, it's happening right before our very eyes. And sometimes I think like so how sometimes people say that we chose this life, like you chose to be incarnated in this body in this time, and to reap your karma. So I sometimes I think of the life that I'm in right now, and I'm like, this is extremely interesting. Like if I chose this life, like good job. Like if you're paying attention to what's really going on, of this is the start of the matrix, man. So we chose here, if that's true what they say, like we chose this life and we chose to incarnate here to reap our karma. This is the craziest opportunity for us to do that. This is the start, like the stuff that we're witnessing in terms of human civilization is absolutely insane. Like all the stuff we talked about, it's happening right now. Like literally, this is the beginning of it. We're not being born. Like it's like being born literally at the start of all of this, and it's such an amazing time to be alive. You know, it's like let's fast forward like 100 years from now when it's 21 and people look back at this time, they're like, wow, that was the beginning of the technological revolution of the information age, and using technology that we can't even fathom right now. Like we're living through that right now. Like this is an amazing time to be able to just witness the ingenuity of human beings and what we can truly do with our consciousness. It's crazy, man. Like think about, like we talked about this at the beginning, what we're doing right now. It's absolutely insane. Like I'm talking to you through time and space as if you were in the same room, and we're doing it like this. It's happening like this. We take it for granted because everybody can pretty much do it nowadays. But isn't that crazy? That we can all do
It's
that?
so crazy. And we take it for granted so much. Like
Yeah.
you just
But it,
like nobody just stops and appreciates like, wow, I'm like connecting with people in China and we're just having a chat with tea and coffee and
yeah.
there's no boundary
It's so easy to
anymore.
do. Like
Yeah.
this, it's a amazing time to be alive. I know people like the popular sentiment of nowadays is that, this life sucks, and it's like there is a lot of darkness. I'm not going to say that like there isn't darkness and suffering in the world, but like I said, on the other side of that, you got to pay attention, like what's really happening, like, and pay attention to yourself, and the tools that we have at our disposal to be able to express ourselves. It's beautiful, man. It really is. And if you're not paying attention to that, you're just gonna, yeah, you're gonna get lost in that suffering, in the darkness. You just gotta like see that this life is, it's crazy, man. It's unprecedented. If you were to take this technology back to 1950 or 60 or 1850 or 1860, they'd be like, "What the fuck is this? They're like, what is
Right.
this?" It
Right.
wouldn't
They'd
even
have
make any
no
sense.
concept. They'd have nothing to reference it against either.
Yeah.
They'd be like, what? How is that possible?
So I
They're-
think, I believe it's an amazing time to be alive. I mean, people might be like, "Oh, you gotta lay off the drugs, dude. You're being way too idealistic." Like, no, man. Like this is pretty cool. This is an amazing time to be alive. And I'm not saying that there isn't darkness. There's obviously, that we're living in Kali Yuga, man. This is the end of Kali Yuga. We all know it's dark
yeah.
times. I'm not saying that there isn't darkness in the world, but there also is light, and that light that is always present, and the light of human ingenuity, I believe, is it's making its way into our lives, and it's amazing to just witness. Even if you just witness it all, if you just kind of like, you take it in and you're like, wow, this is cool. Like I got this mic, I got this, and I got a supercomputer that's more powerful that than the computers that sent people to the moon, and in my pocket. And it's just amazing to see how quick all of this is coming to be. And yeah, it can be scary, like going into the metaverse and getting sucked in, and where that's gonna go, I don't know, but I think it's pretty cool. Being able to like use this technology to connect with other people, it's pretty cool. As long as you just don't get sucked in and think that that's all of you, and that is
Right.
your entire being.
Yeah,
You're,
like
you're
you're those likes or you're the
yeah.
image you're portraying online. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just yeah, I think that's why just having a spiritual practice is so important, especially now and
Yeah,
in the future. So
I agree.
yeah, that's I think that's just going to become even more important in the future, just for people to gain more self-awareness, I would say, and just sort of be able to yeah, because I don't think you'd be able to like sort of live this metaverse virtual life without having self-awareness of who you really are, because
Mm,
you're in a sense you're losing yourself by going online and joining the metaverse, whatever that'll be.
yeah.
But yeah, you're kind of like losing your identity in a way, and then you just got to be aware that, oh, what's the true self.
The true self,
So,
that's what we're all trying to find, the true self. We're always the true
yeah.
self.
We're always the true self,
Right.
exactly. So yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
interesting times for sure, but
For real, man.
glad glad to be part of it here.
Yeah. You can use it to your what's the word I'm looking for? You can use it to your best I don't know what I'm trying to
That's
say.
your best ability.
Your best ability. That's what I was looking for. You
Okay.
can use it to your best ability to become the best version of yourself, or you can use it to become the worst version of yourself. It's really up to
Right,
us. Nobody's telling you that you have to go on Facebook or TikTok and Instagram 15, 20 times a day and get sucked into that. You know, you can,
right.
it's all up to us and how we use this amazing, amazing technology.
Yeah, yeah. So I kind of like what you're doing with it. Like you got the right idea. You sort of like opened a portal almost
I'm
to
trying.
this, like, yeah, to just like attract these different perspectives,
Yeah, that's exactly
conscious
what I'm doing.
perspectives.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's like, yeah, I wouldn't be able to do this in real life. Like I wouldn't be able to like, I mean, I guess I could find a local community, but it'd be so much more limited. So now you have no limit pretty much. You got the whole world
Yeah. As
that
long
can
as you have the
access
internet.
this. Yeah. So yeah, really cool.
Yeah, that's what's cool
Cool
too. I
stuff.
mean, again, take a step down from the metaverse. It's cool to be able to like actually connect with anybody all over the world and find people of like-minded interest and just good people. It's good. It's good to be able to do that because if you're just tied down to your metropolis or your small town or something, you might not find people that are on the same wavelength as you. But if you can go online and find these communities or create communities that do that, that's awesome. There's so much value in being able to do that and make friends with anybody all over the world. Like that's beautiful. That's amazing, man. That is the metaverse,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's it. That
Friendship in the
is
metaverse.
that's it. Friendship in the metaverse. And yeah.
We're already there, for sure. I mean, the metaverse, the first rendition of what it's going to be is just people going into virtual reality. So it's like rather than we're having this conversation with a microphone and a camera, it's like we strap on the VR headsets and we're in this world together. So it's almost like we'd be in the same room having this conversation and we could walk around the room and we'd have our character and our arm. We could like punch each other and stuff like that. That'd be the only difference is that like literally the only difference would be we're sharing the environment. So right now we're sharing video and audio. In the metaverse,
Mhm.
we're sharing our environment together. And then yeah, that's the first rendition of it, I guess you could say. But we're already there. This is the first rendition of the metaverse, being able to share audio and video. And then I just got an Oculus, so this is why I'm kind of going off
Oh,
on it.
okay. Yeah, I've tried that before. That's
It's
just
trippy.
blows my mind.
It's
It's very
trippy.
trippy. Very trippy.
Yeah. But yeah, once we're sharing like a virtual environment, that's when the metaverse comes to be. And yeah, life gets trippy. Just don't get sucked in. There's definitely going to be people that are sucked in. They live most of their life in the metaverse. You know what's going to be trippy is when you can earn money in the metaverse. Like there's probably going to be jobs in this virtual environment or in these apps somehow. I don't know
Right.
how.
Yeah, did you watch the Facebook's like intro video about the metaverse?
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe
basically.
like the virtual office space.
Yeah,
You got
yeah,
like, so you got like your desk. So you're basically just in an office again, but maybe you can program the outside scenery to be like a beach or something. But
yeah. It's just
but
it's trippy, man. Crazy times to be alive. Don't get sucked into the metaverse.
yeah, well,
You're more than the metaverse.
you're more than the metaverse. Exactly. But I guess you have no choice but to get sucked into it. Just like
Yeah,
don't get sucked into it on the other level,
yeah.
on
On all the
another
way.
side of it, all the
Yeah,
way into it. Just
yeah,
yeah.
man.
Wow, I'm excited.
Yeah, I
I'm
think it's
just
cool.
excited to see how the next 50 years, 60 years of my life turn out if I live that long.
It's gonna be wild. Yeah, I like to think that too. I'm like, well, if I'm just kind of like a passerby here. I'm just kind of like a witness. Just kind of,
Right.
I gotta earn money and put food on the table and play the game. But on the other side of that, I'm just watching this whole thing, like like we talked about this show. I am an actor in the show, but I also like to watch the show too at the same time. Just witness it.
Yeah.
Just see what happens, man.
It's yeah, it's beautiful just to witness it. Just to like sit in silence and just observe like, oh,
Yep.
that is cool. And like the amount of changes we'll get to see in this lifetime we're in. That's pretty cool. Like someone in the 1800s, they live a whole lifetime, nothing
Mm.
changes.
Yeah, right.
Pretty much. Maybe a few things change, but here it's
It's
like every
unfathomable.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's I'm looking forward to it.
Same.
I'm optimistic.
So let's change up the topic a little bit. Um, you talked about how you were interested in psychedelics. What psychedelics appealed to you? What did they change for you? What did they show you? And what were they?
What were the psychedelics?
Yeah.
Well, I've only tried LSD maybe like 4 or 5 times, and then I've done 5-MeO twice. So um, yeah, I guess my first experience was probably 3 years ago. Um, and yeah, I mean, the first one, it wasn't, I think I didn't, because like the dosage is very important and
Hmm.
set in setting, of course. So I think the first one was just, I think I didn't take a high enough dosage. So it was just kind of like, some visuals, a few insights, but nothing really profound.
Yeah.
And then, um, yeah, then probably the second time I ended up, I did what they call the heroic dose.
Hmm.
And that was completely different from the first one.
This is
So,
5-MeO DMT.
oh no, this was LSD actually.
Oh, okay. What's the heroic
LSD.
dose of LSD?
Think it's like 500 micrograms or something,
Okay.
or however they measure it.
Okay.
But um, yeah, so that was my experience. So I got into LSD for a bit. I was going like listening to Terrence McKenna,
Hmm.
um, all these sort of teachers, I guess you could call them,
Yeah.
people, these yogis um, in India, and yeah, that opened a path. That showed me that kind of like solidified. Like before that, I kind of always just naturally I had a feeling like, this, like, why is life the way it is? Why are we doing these things? Who's control? Is there anyone controlling it?
Mm.
Is there, does anyone know what's going on?
Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. Yeah. Then with the yeah, a few psychedelic experience, I'm like, oh, nobody knows. Like,
Oh
like
yeah.
literally nobody knows. Like the president of the United States has no idea.
Oh,
Like,
especially the president of the United
especially
States.
the president of the United States. And it's like, oh, nobody. And that was very freeing for me.
Yeah.
That was kind of the big insight I got, was that nobody knows what this is, and that I can I can literally manifest anything I want
Mm.
as long as I put my attention towards it and make that my reality.
Why
So,
would you say that was freeing to you? Because I know exactly what you're saying, but if you could explain why the feeling of nobody has any idea what's going on is freeing. Like, can you get into that a little more? Like, why is that freeing to your being?
well, it's just knowing that there's no like there's no sort of structure, or well, there is a structure, but there's no sort of like hierarchy.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not stuck in this role as
Yeah.
the character, as we said before. I'm not the character. I'm not stuck in this role. It's just all internal. It's all in my mind. So
Yeah.
I can shift that in however, like the only limits my creativity really. Like how creative can I
Yeah.
get with it to change and sort of manipulate, well not manipulate, but sort of like um yeah, just go a new way. And that, yeah, just knowing that no one really knows. No, there's no right way. There's
Yeah.
no correct way.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's
Exactly.
just like only
Mm-hmm.
the answer is within you, and you have to discover that yourself. And yeah, so with that was very freeing for me. And then of course I did, I'm not sure if you've had experience with 5-MeO
No.
before. Yeah, that was a whole different thing. That was that was a different framework, I would say. Like completely different framework to that I'm in now. So um and yeah, that's really hard. That's actually, it's a lot easier to talk about other psychedelics personally
Yeah.
for me than 5-MeO DMT, because it was such a radical shift in like consciousness, and just how you, the whole experience itself was just so different. Like, and even now I can't really like recall back to that frame of
Mm.
5-MeO.
Mm.
So,
How did it change you
but
before and after you took it?
it's well, it's still unfolding. It's going to
Mm.
take time to integrate for
Mm-hmm.
sure. Like, even though I took it a year ago, it's going to take a while. Like,
Yeah.
a year is not even close to enough to integrate that. So
Mm.
um but yeah, just knowing that that state of consciousness exists though is really like really profound,
Yeah.
really profound. And that's something I'd like to yeah, I'd kind of like to, I just have to integrate it. It's like bringing it back to this realm, this
Into the
reality,
show. Yeah.
into this show. It's kind of like, how, what do I take from that experience and bring it back here?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was, if there's anything I could describe it, it was love though. It's
Mm.
very loving, like no ego, no self.
Just love.
It was infinite love.
Damn.
I know
Yeah.
that.
That's powerful. It's true, man.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of been my experience for the past 3 years. It's been a ride for sure. I mean, psychedelics are part of it, but not everything. There's also the, meditation, doing self inquiry, going within yourself, integration. It all kind of weaves together.
Yeah. And here we are.
And here we are. We are here.
All those roads led up to this.
Yes,
And
all the roads led up to this. And yeah, it's like, when it's just like the frame you're in attracts it all. Like,
mm,
it's wherever you're focusing on, like the things just gravitate
mm,
towards you. And it's almost effortless in a way. It's just, you just kind of shift what you shift the internal, and the external automatically changes. So
yes, that's how it goes, man.
yeah.
The internal comes first, and the external changes from the internal.
Right. Yeah. So that's something I wasn't aware of before, the whole like awakening thing.
That whole awakening thing that goes
The
on, you
whole
know?
awakening thing that goes on, whatever you can call it, the realizations,
Yeah,
the insights. Um, yeah, it's still it's still a process.
yeah,
It's unfolding as we speak.
yeah, man. I agree. Amen. It's a never-ending
Yeah.
process. Coming
Yeah.
back,
So it's like,
going, coming back, and going.
yeah, coming back, going, and yeah, I'm just trying not to resist it or fight against it too much. I'm trying to like find that balance, kind of be with it as it unfolds. But yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to process. So
Yeah, I know what you mean,
I don't
man.
know. But
Yeah, isn't it crazy how like these psychedelic shows infinite love. Like you can't even put a word on that, right? But you know, if you know, you know this experience of infinite love, and
right,
they're illegal. You know, you can go to jail for a long time technically if you get caught with it. You know, obviously it's probably not going to happen, but if you get, if you're done with it, they'll put you in jail for a long time. Don't touch those things that show you infinite love.
right.
Like what? That's the darkness in the world that we live in. Like, what the hell,
Yeah,
dude?
it's Big Brother watching us,
Yeah, it's
or
crazy,
whoever
man.
it is.
It's not God.
Yeah,
They don't want us to tap into that. They don't want us to tap into the infinite love.
right. Well, it's because if you do, you realize the whole structure it's built, it'll just collapse.
Yeah, you realize it's all just a show, and it'll
It's
just
all just
collapse.
to keep that sort of structure. They whoever it was who built it, I don't know, it was
Hmm.
a group, a person, a collective,
Yeah, it's just our
um,
collective ego for power and
collective
control.
ego. Yeah, exactly. So it's like, yeah, you just drop it. Like,
Yeah, because you
yeah, it
realize
would.
they don't know what's going on.
Right. Yeah,
They
they don't understand. Exactly.
don't have any idea what's going on.
They're just attached to their sort of their
The
structure they
narrative.
built, their narrative. Yeah, they cling to the narrative. We attach, egos love to attach to things and cling. But
Hmm. I think it's been that
yeah,
same power narrative since, like, the first king had his first subject. Like, we've had that same idea of like somebody else telling us what to do and how to live our life, and idea of control from, probably since the first civilization, which I don't even know when or how that happened, but like the first idea of just power and somebody else controlling you. It's very weird, and it's the same process of power and control throughout the ages. Like, it's the same structure of power, from when we were in the tribes to now. It's just we're giving them
right.
power. We're giving these other people our own power by saying they're in charge, they're in control of me, and they know what's going on. I'm going to live by their rules. But we give them that power. That's the same idea that's been going on for thousands and thousands of years. But
Yeah,
no, it's just a
yeah.
lie. It's not really, it's
Right.
not built on anything.
Right. There's no foundation. There's no there's no it's just empty. It's
Yeah,
emptiness.
it's just a shell that we're just been going along with, but it's not really who's in charge or
Yeah.
what's in charge.
Yeah.
There's a
So
greater I don't know if you want to say being. There's a greater force that we can tap into that's in charge. There's something. It's love. Love's in charge.
yeah, exactly.
That's what it is.
Right. Yeah, that was what was freeing for me. That was what freed me
Yeah,
3 years
God is
ago.
love. That's what it says in the Bible, man.
God is love. And yeah, you just follow follow the goodness, really. Follow the love. As cliche as it may sound.
Mm.
Just follow the love
Follow the love,
and
man.
the light and the goodness. Treat others as you wish to be treated yourself. And
And it all flows. And
that's
that's what we're supposed to do.
yeah, it all just reflects back, comes right
Yeah,
back to you.
exactly,
And
man.
I'm kind of understanding that more now. Like
Mm.
seeing it more in action. Like, give, you shall receive.
Exactly. And the thing
All
is,
that
when you
energy.
receive, it's like you give. This is the gist of it too, at least for me, in my experience. You give, and you shall receive, but you don't even expect anything to
Yeah,
receive. It's just you just
exactly.
receive, and it's just
You
like,
just
oh,
receive
okay.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can't even be helped. You just receive it,
Hmm.
whatever it may be. It's just well-being or happiness, gratitude,
Love.
love.
Follow the love, man. Follow the love. I think we can probably wrap it up at that. That's a good one to. It's a good note to wrap this thing up. Do you have any closing
Follow the
statements?
love.
Follow the love.
Closing statements. Yeah, just wishing everyone well and enjoy the life, enjoy the good life.
Nice.
Have
Follow
fun
the
with
love.
it.
Have fun
Follow
with
the
it.
love.
Don't take it so seriously, man. Let's all lighten up a little bit, Just, take it easy. Take a step back, breathe, put the phone down. Just realize what's real in your life, man. Just take 5, 10 minutes a day. Just disconnect with the outside, connect with the inside. You got to tap into yourself. And that's how you follow the love. You got to love yourself first. Love yourself,
Love
you're
yourself.
being
Yes.
here, and then you realize yourself extends further out, and then the love others, and then just it comes back to you, and it's just like love brings love, and It's an amazing thing, man. But only you can find that out yourself. You know, there's nobody else that's going to do it for you. You can only tap into
Yep.
yourself for yourself. And
It's only you.
it's only you, man.
You're the hero.
You're number one. You're player one. You're the main character in the story. But that's the good news. That's the good part, because that means you can do whatever you want in this life. Man. You can take this life by the balls and live it how you really want to live it. And that may seem a little daunting. It may seem a little scary. I understand, but that's the rules. That's just how it goes. Either
Yes.
way, you're either somebody else is playing your life and showing you how to go, or you play your own life and you be your own character, be your own main character in your own story. It's that simple, man. You either
Yeah.
play the game or the game plays you. That's what I like to say.
Yeah. And
So
don't live in fear too. Get rid
yeah,
of all fear. That is the
yeah,
most limiting thing
yeah.
ever.
Fear is
That's
an
just
illusion.
opposite of love.
It
Fear is the
really is.
illusion. Yeah. Just if there's any fear in life, just got to get rid of it.
Mm-hmm. That's it, man. Thanks for
Amazing.
coming on. This was cool. This was definitely a. I don't even know what we talked about. We went from the metaverse to psychedelics to I don't know, dude. To the future and the life we're living. It was a cool conversation.
Yeah, it was
Uh,
fun.
yeah,
Thanks for having me.
definitely, man. Have to do it again. And yeah, love thyself, and know thyself first in order to love
Yes.
thyself.
Know thyself, love thyself.
All right. Thanks a lot, man. And peace out to everybody.